Hello everybody, Home Aquaponics here. It's going good and I'm about to chop it all down for a green smoothie, and I might be moving in a little while, so I don't think I'm going to plant any more of this, and I think I'm just going to milk it for all it's worth, just keep chopping it, go with get another month out of it probably, maybe a little more. It's just by the time you chop it too much, what happens is there's so many branches that start kind of popping off that it gets just a little too thick. If you were really dedicated about it, you could actually go ahead and, chop quite a bit to where you're only boiling it down to a couple stems again per plant or something. But yeah, I mean, just, the more you chop, the more nodes you get. Some people would consider that a major bonus, but in this situation, it just kind of gets thick. But yeah, gonna be chopping it. But this today, I'm trying to make as many videos as I can right now, and it's because I might be moving too. So I just want to let everybody see how great this is, and I can't wait for the future because I really think I'm going to be even getting more advanced and quite a bit bigger than this. So, you guys will all be able to see this little setup, and there's been a few before this, but they had a lot of failure and all that, and so, the failure is just something I'm kind of glad I didn't share with anybody. But today, and I'm going to be chopping all this down today because the lettuce, here's the problem is this variety is bad. I've already talked about it, and it just wasn't that good from the get-go, and I filled it in too many plants in each little cup, and then it started out with really low light, the T12s, and I actually replaced them with the LED that replaces a T12, which is pretty neat. So, but anyway, today is about this. So this video is going to be about nutrients, and this will go far more into just even aquaponics or hydroponics, because I know there's a lot of people out there, they grow all kinds of plants. I don't have to mention any of it and stuff, but this is kind of my little, this is my little secret, basically. This is what I use while everybody else uses all kinds of other stuff. So I hope you like it, and this is about anything you can for aquaponics, and also any other hydroponics, or even just simply growing plants, say in felt pots or something like that. So I'm going to start with real quick what's up top here. So anyway, here is something that someone gave me for free. I would never put this in the hydroponics, but a very good product for so I can catch her. This is a little off-brand. You'll probably never be able to find it, but what it is fish. Okay, it's fish. And the problem with fish is that it attracts animals. So, when you're, basically, you're going to use fish, it really stinks. And so, even though plants really like fish, it's not exactly the most practical. So the thing is the guy at the garden store gave me that as a free sample. I took it because I knew it is organic too. It's organic fish. But I'll tell you that as far as using it, I'm not going to use it. And I'm not going to put it in my water. And really, fish is like blood meal. If you use it, it has great results. You can taste a little bit of it in the product that you're growing. And then another thing is, like, little bugs like ants and stuff, it seems like they just go crazy for the stuff. Little gnats, oh god, you want to feed gnats, feed them blood meal. So anyway, fish, it's at least organic, and I don't know. You're going to be bringing raccoons, let's put it that way, if you're outside. So, and if you're inside in your own house, you're going to be smelling it. So I would say the littlest bit, maybe like it's like a micronutrient, just literally a drop per gallon or something, but it just doesn't get off anything. And if you put it in a pan, or if you put it in something, that pan's going to stink for life. So I'm not that big of a fan, but at least it is organic. It's a good source of micronutrients and nitrogen. Okay, so I'm going to go through the nutrients first, then I'm going to go for the fish. So here is something I've started using later on. I try to look for the Norwegian kelp over anything Pacific-based due to like Fukushima and stuff, but I actually heard rumors that the Atlantic is more polluted than the Pacific, so God, that's even a harder call, because apparently all the oil spills and, the long-term industrial movements between America and the UK and stuff like that, and Africa, so, the ocean is probably not the best. Anyway, though, I have discovered it. I like it a lot. Seaweed, this is just Dr. Earth. You can probably get any kind. there's a couple things out there. There's a company called Bushmaster, and they promoted it as this Nordicellum or whatever. What is that? Acephalum nordicodum or something. And it turned out they had a systemic pesticide in it. So, they were promoting it as it allowed the plant to be more bushy. And, certainly in aquaponics, you're not going to be worried about that so much. But just, be careful. Get your stuff from a reputable company. Just because somebody's from Southern Oregon, that doesn't mean that they're reputable at all. So, basically, I don't know what brand that was. Like it was like Humboldt Advanced. I worked at a store, and I remember like you got like 500 bottles of this in the back, and all of a sudden you realize it's like some horrible systemic pesticide that could cause your children to have an extra arm or something like that, and you got your boss making you move it. So, but that's enough. So anyway, Seaweed, great source of potassium. So, and once again, a lot of micronutrients. It's not just potassium. When you see 0045, that doesn't mean that all it is potassium at all. There is so many micronutrients in that plants really like. And I've heard that outside that if you actually spray with seaweed, it'll keep the chompers down. Now, I didn't notice that big of a difference, and I didn't put that much on. So the thing is that, like grasshoppers, things like that, apparently, if you, spray it a little bit liberally, it can actually keep the grasshoppers and stuff off it. So, like I said, maybe it was just too far into the season and the bugs are already on there too much, but I didn't notice much of a difference. But they say, a lot of people do say that does work. So, all right, enough of the seaweed. We'll go here to this Aqua Iron. All right, so in my aquarium video, I've mentioned the Aqua Iron before, but once again for aquaponics, there's a guy, I don't know his name, he's done a whole bunch of aquaponic videos. And he seems really knowledgeable, and he's working at a pretty high-end business. I mean, but he did this video on iron, and it was like an hour of him like trying to describe to you like the different kinds of chelations and all these things. And then he says, well, I recommend this EDTPA or whatever. And he's like, you can find it at any hardware store. And I couldn't find it anywhere. I mean, I'm living in Missouri. I went to like five hardware stores, and even the garden store just had nothing like what I was looking for. So if you want iron, which is maybe the one thing you actually need in aquaponics, you need iron more than anything else. And in fact, if you're feeding your fish adequately, it might be the only thing you need. So when it comes to this, I am totally representing this company, and I'm telling you right now, there's a champion holding some weights up in the air, which is what I like to do too. And anyway, here it is. What does it say? Old DTPA chelated iron, but you can get it from this company. It was like, I want to say $15, and it lasts you forever. So the ED, what is it again? Who cares? DTPA, okay? So don't think DTPA iron from the hardware store. Go out and get Aqua Iron. And I am serious. I am not trying to promote a company or anything. I am saying that if you grow aquaponics, that is going to be your best friend. It's affordable. And yeah, I think it's out of Colorado or something like that. I mean, and actually, believe it or not, even though the chelation mineral is kind of considered a chemical, I think the USDA actually approved chelated iron as being organic because they okayed it in the use of aquaponic systems because first of all, it's just iron for the most part, and obviously not a dangerous chemical. It's not something you're trying to grow with the DTPA or whatever. But the thing is that this Aqua Iron, I check with your local state or whoever it is that's going to be like certifying you, and if you want to be certified organic. But from what I know, you're allowed to use this, and it is considered organic. So that being said, those are the three for the aquaponics. Besides this, so I go down here, and one thing you'll find you're missing a lot of is like calcium. And so here, this is just coral, and also for the aquarium store, or aquarium videos, I've talked about the coral. So I don't want to take you over there, but if you take like kind of a flat iron or something, and you can kind of break this up into dust. Because, you know, if it's just in these pebbles like this, it's not going to really dissipate so much. Some people fill a bucket full of this and they'll run the water through it. But what I found the problem with that is that it accumulates waste, and it can actually become very, very disgusting, and just, you know, it becomes a waste place where, you know, not much bacteria can break it down, and it just, you know, so what I do is I crush it, and, you know, no more than, let's say, a teaspoon of dust, mix that with some like heated up reverse osmosis. And now the reason it's important to use the reverse osmosis, and you don't have to, but the thing is, reverse osmosis has no minerals in it, so it'll uptake the calcium better. So that is just a coral calcium. You could probably use lime if you really wanted. If you're doing a really big operation, I'm sure lime might be cheaper and already in a dust form. But in a smaller operation, I think the coral is actually a better way to go. And that, once again, is Atlantic coral too, so we got no Fukushima here either. Hey, I love Japanese people, okay? It's nothing against Japanese, but it's just about the fact that there is a possible, you know, catastrophe going on right now. So, okay, so yeah, back to that. You got the calcium. That's a good one for calcium. And it also, too, has a lot of micronutrients. The fish like it. It holds a pH well, you know. And then, anyway, back to this, though. So here we go. Next is Rite Aid. Okay, Rexall or whatever. Just straight up Epsom salts. Once again, not officially organic, but at the same time it is. It's just magnesium. There is no, you know, it's not anything that is, you know, dangerous. It's not any kind of, you know, Miracle Grow formula that's made from, you know, petroleum products or anything like that. It's just magnesium. And so that's a good one too, as well, magnesium. Any kind Epsom salt though, and make sure you don't get anything with, like, you know, they have stuff that'll like make your foot smooth, or, you know, makes your hand smooth, or you don't want anything like that. No relaxation formula or anything like that. You just want straight magnesium salts, okay? So now we're gonna go to the next item. Sorry to move around here so much. I'll get you some light. But once again, in a bag. Let's see if I can find it. There it is. Okay, it's hard to see. God, see it? Azomite. So that's also a great dust. And you know, never overdo the azomite though. I find that it actually can clog the fish's gills a little bit. So you never want to like really cloud up the water. Once again, like here with the azomite, if I was going to be doing this, say this 60-gallon setup over here, I think it's about 60 gallons, 50 gallons. I would never put in more than like not even a half teaspoon anymore, like a quarter teaspoon. I used to give it the full teaspoon and it would cloud the water, and I just think that it's a little much, you know. Basically, it goes hand in hand with the coral. If you want to add some minerals, and the only reason I mineralize it is because I do use partially reverse osmosis. So I know I got a lot to talk about here. Good God. So let's go up here to actually, yeah, for secondary reverse osmosis. So I talked about this in my aquarium video, except for in the aquarium I do 4-to-1 or 3-to-1 depending. Add a few minerals, and that's perfect for the aquarium. But what I've learned is that the aquaponics system cleans the water so well, and the plants actually end up taking out so many minerals that in this case I'll actually just do 1 and 1 of the, what this is dirty RO water. This is your excrement water, basically, from the reverse osmosis. But the thing is it has gone through a it's gone through some pre-filters, so you are technically getting out some of the heavy metals and things like that. It is cleaning the water better than, of course, like a Brita filter or something. And then you're mixing it back with, you know, the reverse osmosis, which is totally pure. So essentially, you're actually not taking out any of the calcium, because this is so hard because of taking it out of there. But, and once again, we're talking only 500 parts per million, 300 parts per million max. You know, and I sorry to talk so much. There's a lot in this video, and I hope you guys get a lot out of it if you do read it. It should be very important. But, you know, so I split it half and half, maybe like 2-to-1, 2 reverse osmosis, 1 to that. But I've found that the plants are cleaning the water, that my fish actually, some of them have died due to absolutely 100% me being able to verify it as lack of minerals. Because what happens is the fish kind of starts floating around upside down, and it's still alive, but what it is, it's just, that's what happens when they are in the reverse osmosis and the water just doesn't have enough minerals. So, I'll even find now, like, because before I tried to, like, peat moss it up and stuff, and I'll talk about that too. I mean, you can use a little peat moss, but even now I feel like I have to add hardness to the water. The problem is actually that the water's not hard enough once the system gets going. Now, of course, when they're seedlings or something, you might want to use peat moss, soften the water, it's good for the fish. But by the time those plants really start taking out the minerals in that water, you actually kind of want the hardness. So it's opposite of what a lot of hydroponics, they try to fix the pH and break out some of that calcium. But believe it or not, I've had a lot of testament. One local guy here, a professional lettuce grower, Aquaponics, and he actually just uses well water. I mean, he does not change anything. He does not add anything. So, I mean, you almost want minerals in this point, So, and that'll take you over to the peat moss, which is outside. Now, if you are needing anything to do with, bugs, pests, and stuff like that, sorry about that. These are two products that actually do work with the fish. So you can use azomite with the fish. Or, I'm sorry, Azamax. It's Azadirachta. And, this little bottle, it's really expensive, though. And actually, it doesn't work that good. You can use... It kind of, like, kills them, but then almost immediately you're going to have them come back because the oil is not that good. So you might... what a friend recommended to me is you might hit them hard with the Azamax and then do, like, a dose of neem. And then the neem oil will kind of keep them from coming back a little bit. This is a derivative of neem, but the problem is due to its lack of oil, it only lasts so long. It's kind of like pyrethrin, you're going to get a good hit, but it's not, you got a week until you're back to infestation again with it. So, but the main thing is it's safe for the fish, and the pyrethrin is not at all. I mean, you can use a very low dose of pyrethrin, but you greatly stand the chance of killing your fish. Same deal with this. This is kind of dangerous. This shit, sorry my language, this will burn the crap out of your plants. I mean, I would actually, in fact, not even use even the suggested amount. I would use like literally half of that. And this one it's like a pestout or something. What I like about it is not only is it omni, but it is like really good essential oils, clove. And I'm really happy I've actually found this. And one of the women she runs a hydro shop here in the state, and she actually really goes for this as well, because you can use it even if you're growing like mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms, stuff like that. It's one that like I said, you're not using pyrethrin on a lot of this, so it's organic. That's organic. Those are two that I would recommend. And here's like some cheap neem oil as well for organic gardening, whatever the hell that means. It's so funny how, like, at Lowe's, they can make these claims, and, clearly it's not 100% organic neem oil, but it's cheap, and actually that stuff mixes well. The 100% organic tends to kind of clog up on you and stuff, so, anyway, those are for the bugs and stuff. And then last thing, once again, I'm a real fan of organics. This Cow Wow, good source of nitrogen. That would be a good one too if you're, growing any other kind of plants outside. And then I'm not a big fan of the company, but it is pretty good. And honestly, for a while, like in my high school days or whatever, I used some of the other brands and stuff like that. And even though they might work at Tommy and some of the more expensive things, this is not bad, and it's actually got a lot of good stuff in it. What you probably don't want to do is use it at full strength. You want to use this very partially, like you would the fish. Like you would want to go with, like, say, the hit of nitrogen, and then the, little bit of this, and then there's another one. But honestly, I like to go all organic. I'm really for it nowadays. I just, I'm not necessarily for veganics. I do think that there's something to be said for using animal waste and things like that. You're going to get stuff from from microorganisms and stuff, from, you know, organic cow dung, than you're going to get way more from just a simple compost tea. But, you know, it all has its place, so compost tea is good. So the last thing is, I don't know if I'm down here, but, you know, out of everything I've showed you, the one thing we're missing is phosphorus. And it's very, very simple. You don't have to go buy Big Bloom or Big Bud or any of that stupid stuff. I mean, it's just so unneeded and unnecessary. All you need is rock phosphorus. That's all you need, is just, you need to go out and get a bag of rock phosphorus, and just like you crush the coral, you crush the rock phosphorus, and you just, you know, you bust it up into dust, and guess what? That's all that is at the shop that's got rock phosphorus. You need it in a liquid form, soak it, you know, boil it. I don't know. I mean, you know, you're going to get that phosphate. So what a lot of people recommend is you crush up the phosphate and just simply, you know, place it on or above or in the roots. You know, you don't quite use it as a watering method so much as you do. You just want to basically have it in the roots. But now here's the kicker: is a lot of times in the end of a lot of plants and food, you want to be able to flush it. So you don't want to necessarily put so much in that you're going to have this excess phosphate at the end of your plant cycle. And another problem with phosphate is you're going to have a lot of algae from it as well. It can greatly bang up, you know, raise your algae. So actually, in the algae situation, that's why they recommend, like, say you've got your hydro cups and whatnot, you know, over here, you know, your little beer mugs or whatever that I use. You would just, you know, crush up the rock phosphorus and just put a little in if you had a flowering plant, like, say, broccoli, or we all know what else. And, you know, so you're just basically wanting to, you know, crush a little phosphorus and put it near the root zone, but do not let it get into the water system where the algae is going to build. So anyway, that's it. I mean, that's pretty much it in a nut. I mean, I know this video's long. I talk like crazy. But, you know, I think you guys, this is small, and you're looking at a small little setup in a basement. But I'm telling you that what is right here is really good. Oh, and then real quick, and last thing, the fish food. I found that you actually don't want to feed your fish large pellets. Now I'm using goldfish, but even like apparently the bigger fish, if you feed them those giant pond pellets, those are made for like 1.5 foot long koi fish. And so, you know, I heard that I found that they actually get somewhat constipated, especially littler goldfish, and that alone can kill them. So I've actually kind of, what I do is I feed them just a little bit of flakes to where they kind of fill up on it. You know, you kill their hunger craving with the flakes, and then you turn around and you feed them the pellets, and that way the only ones that are truly still hungry will then consume the pellet, which usually means the bigger one, but those are very small pellets. And then, since you got it in the camera here, this is the last thing. You know what? For the money, black gold is the best soil. Honest to God, it's better than Happy Frog. It's better than, you know, Fox Farm for the money. It's way better than Miracle Grow. And all those, like Fox Farm and all them, they're just like bark chips. They're selling you bark. And after 3 or 4 runs with it, or even just 2, you are literally planting your plants right in bark. And black gold is one of the few that truly, especially the seedling mix is absolutely awesome compared to the you know, Miracle Grow and even the Happy Frog. The seedling mix in black gold is ideal, and you will find that the seedlings that come up are just absolutely incredible. And so, you know, really, it's funny, when I lived in Oregon, you could get black gold at the grocery store. So I'm actually a big believer in black gold. If you are going to use store-bought soil, it to me is the one. And it is Omni Organic. They do make lines of it. This is organic potting soil, and it is really good. It's really great for seedlings. So that's a run-through. Aquaponics, nutrients, food, I guess pesticide, you know, organic, and this will get you there. This is all you need, and you'll be really happy you had it. So, all right, great. Home Aquaponics.